Hello, I'm BrigantiaBlackbird at the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Thursday, December 19th, 2024. It is the 29th of Sagittarius. It is the day of cookies. In our astrology, the sun is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, representing adventure. The moon is third quarter Leo, fixed fire, representing enthusiasm. Mercury is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, which is to be opinionated. Venus is in Aquarius, fixed air, which is to be intellectual. Mars is retrograding in Leo, fixed fire, which is tempered action. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is to broaden perspective. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, which represents nostalgia. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, representing rebellion. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, which represents intuition. Pluto is in Aquarius, fixed air, which represents reformation. For our retrograde reminders, for Mars, reconsider what you really want. For Jupiter, reconnect with your true path. For Uranus, reconsider how you rebel. And for Chiron, restore the heroic spirit. We have a waning give us mood at present, so express gratitude and reap the benefits of your work. The theme of the Leo moon is leadership and creative play. So today we have retrograding Jupiter and Gemini and the Leo moon, and they're really rubbing together along quite well today. Jupiter's desire for more information, along with the more imaginative Leo, is creating an environment of possibilities to be explored. So, should unexpected solutions to difficulties arise, seriously consider them. That might have been just the right atmosphere to bring something to the forefront and make a solution that you didn't consider before actually possible. So, be watchful of that just in case that ends up applying to your situation today. Then in today's tarot, we have the Two of Good Cheer. Twos represent wisdom, choice, experience, and relationships. And then the suit of good cheer is related to the suit of cups and the element of water. And the keywords for the card are unified love, partnership, and attraction. And, any kind of powerful bond is going to be represented by this particular card. Oftentimes, it is more of a romantic relationship, but it can also represent a very strong bond of friendship. It can be, people who perhaps have the same mission, even in the business sense, and they're just working in such close concert that, almost this bond of, de facto blood brothers has been formed. Sometimes it can refer to our bonds between very close family members. And so there's a lot of different context in which this particular energy might be manifesting itself. But if you have an opportunity to spend some time with someone that you do feel very close to, seize it today. If you have an opportunity to perhaps improve an acquaintance that you have been feeling particularly drawn towards, this is your little nudge to go ahead, talk a little bit more, see if you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe it'll pan out, maybe it won't, but it is probably worth exploring today. Then in today's Celtic triad, three boasts of a fool: riches, lineage, and dissipation. So riches are all very convenient. I'm sure we would all, appreciate a bit more in the old bank account. And of course, when riches are honorably earned, it is admired because that's the product of hard work. But a bank account alone does not make the person. So if all someone has is money, but they did not gain it honestly, or that it was, they're just not a good person in general, that's not going to make them any better. And then lineage, it's nice to have a pedigree of honorable and productive people. That's a good legacy. But each individual still has to prove themselves, and they have to earn esteem through their own deeds. So we can't just, write off some extraordinary ancestor and have their prestige transfer onto us. If anything, it's something for us to strive for, to a level to try to reach. And then dissipation. Now, dissipation is not a word that's in common use, so I thought I would just briefly define it. It consists of squandering assets, whether it's money or other kinds of resources. It can refer to habitual drunkenness, sexual excesses, even sexual perversions. Yeah, and only an idiot would really take pride in that sort of thing. That's nothing to be proud of. That's not something that is building the future. It's not something that's making anyone a better person. It's not anything that's really admirable or something worth looking up to. So when people who all they do is boast upon their financial resources, or what people they descended from, or the fact that they are able to to break the rules of society and behave any which way without seemingly any consequences, that is a fool. that is someone who it is ultimately quite dangerous to be in too close proximity to. Because when things do come crashing down for them, you don't want to be collateral damage for that. Then today's magical correspondences, they are on the theme of goodness. The color is green, the plant is bergamot, the animal's the boar, and the crystal is jade. Practicing goodness, especially when under pressure or in difficult circumstances, that is a way of extracting the poison of the world from your own soul. It can be very difficult when when you're if you are surrounded by people who you at the very least perceive as just they don't care what they do, they don't care what they say, they don't seem to have any kind of standard of ethics or morality. It can be very difficult to go on being a good person because someone, especially if they're depressed and feeling run down by it, might say, well, what's the point? What is the point of me carrying on and trying to be decent and trying to live a good, honorable life when I'm just surrounded by all of this? And now, when a person gets to feeling that way, that is an indication that the external poisons that have already been very destructive for the people around them are getting into someone else. So, refocusing one's mind on goodness, getting that poison out of the soul, learning not to envy people for getting away with it, because in the long run, we all pay for everything that we do in one form or another, even if it isn't always obvious for the outside observer. So, if we can remind ourselves that eventually the scales of justice always rebalance in one form or another, and it might make it a little bit easier for us to hold on to our own personal standards, our own personal integrity when things are difficult, and when there's a temptation to say, "Yeah, it doesn't matter, so I'll just do whatever." We do need to strengthen ourselves during such times of trial. Then today's hearth-keeping hint, it's all about the food because tomorrow it all begins, gang. So I found these lovely little cheat sheets. The first is from the Wholesome Witch. She suggests mint cupcakes for renewal, toffee pudding for wealth, gingerbread for healing, sugar cookies for joy, Yule log cake for peace, cranberry trifle for courage. I think I do believe our sister witch here shares my passion for baking because those all look pretty good to me. And a lot of these things are actually not as difficult to make as what you might think. So if you are a novice baker, I encourage you not to be intimidated by any of this. Once you get into the rhythm of some of these things, I promise you, you will be amazed at how little time some of these can take, how easy it is to present them in a pretty way. It's not as hard as you think, I promise. It just takes a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of practice. Then from let's see, I think it's Green-Eyed Witch of let's see, I think it's ETX of East Texas, maybe I don't know. Uh, my eyes are old, but she suggested food in general for the winter solstice. So root vegetables, definitely a fun thing to be making today. And you can actually roast roast vegetables, especially if you're making any kind of roast, whether it's beef or turkey or chicken or whatever it is that you're making. Oftentimes, recipes calls for just almost putting those root vegetables whole in the roasting pan with it, and it just all cooks together. So if you're looking for something that isn't going to require having 20,000 different pots and pans. That's an option to consider. She also suggests the Yule log cake, and then, of course, wassail. And wassail can be made alcoholic or non alcoholic as your circumstances require. So don't feel like you would be left out of, if you have kids and you don't really want them getting. Run the risk of them getting into the alcohol, or if you have issues with alcohol yourself, you don't have to not take part in wassail. You just have to make it non alcoholic. She also suggests roasted ham or roasted goose. That's not as common in the United States, although I have heard some people who've had roasted goose who just rave about it. So if that's in the budget and a possibility for you, definitely give it a go and come back and tell the rest of us how it worked out and what it tastes like. Winter fruit salad. If you live in a warmer area or if as Yule's been coming up on us, if you've been having a bit of a heat wave, because it seems like some of us are getting frozen and others of us are getting roasted, and so others of us are just up and down and up and down. If during your festivities it happens to be on the warmer side, fruit salad would be a nice alternative. To maybe a soup, baking fresh homemade bread, roasting chestnuts, rum cake, gingerbread, soups and stews, especially if you're on the cold ends of things right now, hot cocoa. This is just inspiration. And I would encourage you, whatever you are making for Yule, Whether it's these things or something else, try to enjoy the process. Don't make it a stressful thing. Let it be fun. Incorporate the family into the effort if you possibly can. Use it as an opportunity to make some memories. Then for today's practice, finalize those Yule preparations because tomorrow it begins. So we this is the wire. This is the 11th hour. So definitely make sure you've got your ducks in a row. Then of course today's a good day for cooking magic. Our archetype for today is the winter homemaker. And I would just put to you, in what ways do your homemaking practices really shine at this time of year? This is one of those things where I think it's good for us to claim a little bit of victory because all of us have something that we're really good at. And so, what is that thing for you at this time of year? Then a possible meditation theme for you is the breath before plunging into festivities. And especially if you have felt a bit rushed off your feet and you've been doing all these things, so hopefully you can relax. If you take the opportunity to meditate tonight, before you go to bed, get some of those preparation jitters out of your system, get any anxiety about, oh my goodness, 50,000 things could go wrong, get that out of your system. That can help you approach tomorrow with a much more relaxed attitude and a much more of, I've done everything I need to do, and now I'm going to relax, I'm going to enjoy this. So, uh, especially if you are prone to overthinking or anxiety is an issue, I really do encourage you make the time to meditate tonight before bed. And then if you happen to have some turquoise, you might choose to carry or wear it today. So now this is a little something for the grown-ups. This is a winter solstice mulled wine. For this, you need a bottle of cheap red wine, a third a cup of brandy, a third cup honey or more to taste, a teaspoon of vanilla, an orange cut into slices, the juice of one orange, apple cut into slices, a third cup whole cranberries, 8 whole cloves, 3 cinnamon sticks, and 4 pods whole star anise. And then essentially you combine all the ingredients except the spices into a small saucepan or crock pot. And a separate span, you toast the spices until warm. Then you add the spices to the rest of the ingredients and simmer for 20 minutes or 2 hours. You don't bring it to a boil. The longer the spices simmer, the more the flavor evolves and gets good. And then you strain the spices out and you serve this hot, garnished with cinnamon sticks and an orange slice. So if you are wanting a treat for the Yuletime festivities that is strictly for grown-ups, this is it. And as a side note, make sure that your refrigerator and your pantry are ready for the cooking blitz to come. And I'm sure there will be various occasions when we all are dealing with some leftovers. So try to have a plan for what you're going to do with those leftovers so that it's nice instead of, yeah, it's leftovers. Try to take that out of the proceedings if you can. Then on our creative corner, Yule log cake is a long-standing tradition, and once one learns to knack it, can be a special tradition to carry forward. Every recipe I've looked up always involves some version of, and if it should crack, don't worry about it. The frosting will cover it. So if you are feeling nervous about not getting it quite right and perfect, just remember that if you do decide to embark on this, it's okay for things not to be perfect the first go around. Sometimes the value is to just the fact that you did it, and then as time goes on, you can get better. Um, I am strongly considering giving this a go. I'm I've always been intimidated by these. I haven't gotten it right yet, but I think this does need to be the year. Then for our journal prompt, are you ready to go for the Yule feast? In conjunction with your meditation prompt today, this is another opportunity for you to perhaps get some anxiety and nervousness out of your system, especially if perhaps celebrating Yule is brand new to you, or you're trying something new and you're worried about how it's going to go. Anything that you have or any kind of excess excitement that you have that might keep you awake tonight when you do need to be getting your beauty rest, write it down or meditate it out of your system. Just that way you can be fresh and calm tomorrow. So, on that note, everyone, have a magical day. I wish you bright blessings and all the joys of the season. Tomorrow, the big events come, so I hope you are excited and ready to go. And of course, I hope to see you here again tomorrow for the next edition of the Daily Forecast. But bye for now, and happy Yuletide Eve.